All right. Good morning, Shilow Norton operations for Team 4. Give you a rundown what's happened in the last few days and what our plans are for the future. So a lot of good work is being done when we can. So with the amount of rain that we've been receiving, we get ran off the hill fairly regularly in the last 2 or 3 days, and we'll probably see that in the future. So try to get up in there where the folks are working, get some work done, and then as the rain comes in, lightning comes in, folks try to get off the hill down to some better ground, down to the paved roads, that kind of stuff, and work on some of that stuff that they can access from there. So that's what we've been doing for the last few days. That'll be the plan for the future, and we'll try to get as much work as we can while we're here. So with that, a lot of the work that we're doing is from the QR codes that are sent in from the public. So on the forest websites, if you go there'll be a QR code that you can scan, and then that'll link you to a document if you're a landowner, and then you can fill out that form. That form will then be somebody from the team will call you and ask, where your house is, what kind of work needs to be done. Make sure that work, we have a good understanding of what needs to be done and where it's at. And then at that point, that information gets put on a map and given into the divisions out on the line, and then they'll be contacting you as a landowner to try to work out and get that done. Once that's that work is completed and the landowner signs off on that we get everything done, then we'll take it off the to-do list and go to the next house. So I think there was 300 plus areas that we were working on. I think we got about 40 done in the last 2 or 3 days that we should have signed off. We'll see how that goes. It just depends on the amount of work that we have. Some properties require multiple days or 3 or 4 days. It just depends on what the situation is. So that's the majority of the work that we're doing. We also have a lot of work on the forest itself that we're trying to take care of as well. So I'll start kind of over here by Hamilton Mesa. The Hamilton Trail that was opened up for four-wheeler access, basically to be able to haul supplies and people and shuttle people up to the Beatty's cabin area and go direct on this piece of line. That trail system right now, they're trying to rehab and make that more into a wilderness trail. So they'll be continuing to work on that for the next several days. They made good progress so far, but they probably got another 4 or 5 days of good, clear weather. And the weather we're getting, it may take longer than that. Also, there's a lot of stuff coming up towards. I think there's an elk sling that we had on our map up here. There's several drainages coming down. I guess it's right in here. A lot of that country that they put dozer lines in, trying to gain access to that country and stop that fire. They're going in there and pulling out some of the hose and pumps and that kind of stuff that was left in there. They were hauling that out yesterday, and they got another load to haul out today, and then also starting the dozer repair work in that area. So lot left to do in that whole canyon, and it'll persist for the next probably 14 days. We'll have that division plugged in there the duration that we're here. A similar situation down on the south by Boreas Mountain. Several dozer lines that they're working on. There's a series of roads in there that they used as well. So if it was roads, they're trying to fix those roads back up. If it was dozer lines, they're trying to pull the berm and rehab them so that we don't have water running down them and creating a mess further down the hill. So that's their main focus in the southern repair group that we have down here working around Boreas. Over here closer to Las Vegas in the Guaynas Canyon, and I think that's right up in here. So whenever you start getting up into the forest, there was a bunch of trees that were dropped, kind of hazard trees and stuff, and some of those are close to the drainage or in the drainage. we're going to plug in a division hopefully in the next couple of days and get that person in there today, and then we'll get some crews whenever they get here. We'll plug them in place and some equipment, and we'll start trying to get that cleared so that anything coming down, we don't have any of those logs come down and create a log jam and create more of a mess as it comes down. There's also several dozer lines in that canyon that we're going to start working on as soon as we get the resources, and that'll be our focus for the next several days. Up here around the town of Mora and Ladue, and then Christmas Tree Canyon and Cleveland and Cachone, all of those towns have a lot of work. We got a group of folks in there working with the landowners, trying to make sure that all the fence that was cut or messed up during whenever they're trying to catch the fire is all fixed, as well as the dozer lines, the roads, that kind of stuff. So a lot of work in there. They're just steadily progressing, going from landowner, trying to knock that stuff out. Further up to the north, we have a division supervisor that should be coming in today. Whenever they get here, we will plug them in more up towards the Cooks Peak area. So that Cooks Peak fire, they were going to use that as a natural barrier. And so they figured if this fire kept on moving that direction, they were going to use that as a holding feature. And so there's a lot of lines put on the map, and I'll see if I can point it out to you. But a lot of these lines right here, this is a road system, some of these dozer lines, and then there's a series of dozer lines coming off. If this fire was to move up there, that was their plan. So with that, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're going to try to see what we can do to get some of that fixed. So as that person gets up there, sees what they need, then we'll start plugging in more resources for that area. Kind of the same thing on the 518 corridor coming down around Sipapoo, some of this area up in here. As there's a lot of structures in there, a lot of campgrounds. We got another division on order. As soon as they get in, we'll start getting more resources and then plugged in to do more work there. They're doing some of the work right now, but it's very limited. And so we're going to try to beef up that operation and see if we can't get some more work done in that main corridor. Also, on the very north side of the fire, I'll point out some stuff to you there. This whole, what we're calling Pot Creek, is this Pot Creek Road. This whole series that starts from Pot Creek and goes over kind of directly towards Black Lake. It kind of veers off and kind of comes up to the north there. That whole area right there, they had put dozer line in and opened up a series of roads. And there's probably 4 or 5 different types of roads in there, and they kind of pieced them all together to make access through there. Right now what they're trying to do is get that road good enough to haul off of, and that way they can get the later on, whenever things dry out a little bit more, they'll bring in some equipment and start hauling out that wood that was pushed to the side whenever they pushed in those dozer lines up on top of that ridge line. The plan is to, once that roads get better, get them in there. They'll pull that wood out. What's merchantable, they can send off. What's not merchantable, they can cut up for firewood, or they can place it around the different communities. So there's a lot to work out there. That's probably not something that we'll get into while we're here. Our main focus is just getting that road open so that when time comes, they can get in there and do what they need to. There's also a little section of road that's further to the north off of the map. It's on the north side of the Highway 64, and that's Forest Road 5. There's some culvert work being done and trying to improve the road. They got a big landing there with some of this lumber that they're pulling out and trying to get that fixed up for that operation. So with that, that's kind of the plan for the future and what we've had going on thus far. The whole area is still in a closure. You know, our focus is to get as much of this work done so that we can open it up And a lot of this putting in the new division up around the Sipapoo ski area is just for that. So if we can get some of those roads shut down, some of the dozer lines that lead off of those main roads shut down, then maybe they can open some of that stuff up later on for the public to get back in there. So at this point, we still have a closure order. We're not ready to let folks back in, but that is our goal. And hopefully in the next week or so, we can get some of that work done and speed up that process. So with that, if you have any questions, just let us know, and I'll try to answer them. We're doing this every other day, so try to answer all your questions at that point. And thank you for all your support, and let us know how we can help. Thank you.